welcome to Cult Macabre, a phantasmagoric guide to pop culture's dark side. I'm Richie.
And I'm Lee.
And today it is 420. With that being said, we are here to discuss a 420 favorite scary movie from 2000. That's a long time ago if you think about it, like 26 years? Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, while we were rewatching this for the episode, we were talking about what year it came out, and then I realized that I watched this when I was 9 years old. And I was definitely way too young to be watching this film.
I was 14 when this came out. I very, very vividly remember seeing this when it came out. It was July of 2000. Weirdly enough, 4 years after the film that it's parodying, which is Scream, the original title of Scream was Scary Movie. So I guess the Wayans brothers were like, no, we're going to take that for our shit. But it didn't just parody Scream. It parodied a bunch of other horror movies around the time, mostly the slasher genre, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, stuff like that.
Yeah, there were so many movie references. It was just chock full of them. Literally at every turn and every joke, you can point out probably what film that the reference came from.
Yeah, and even all of the characters, like the names either referenced like a couple of characters from each of those movies, or they referenced an actor. Like Cindy Campbell was Sidney Prescott, like Sydney, and Neve Campbell, being her last name, like Bobby Prinz, like Freddie Prinz.
Mm-hmm.
Doofy Gilmore was Buffy Gilmore from...
That was my favorite one, was the Buffy reference.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking hilarious, man. And I mean, it's a lot to get into because parody movies are very hit or miss, honestly. My first introduction to anything to do with spoof or parody was Leslie Nielsen and the Naked Gun franchise, which I thought was one of the best franchises out there. And Leslie Nielsen was a great slapstick comedy guy, even though he primarily was a serious actor up until like Airplane and, Naked Gun, Files from Police Squad, the TV series. And he was in a few of the Scary Movie sequels, I believe. I think he was in a couple of them at one point. But we're here to discuss the first one because I'll be honest with you, I think the first two are the best two.
My favorite one personally is the second one. That's the one I watched the most growing up, and my siblings and I really enjoyed it. But the first one still holds a very high place, very close to it.
Yeah, I very much remember the summer that it came out. Hell, the summer after it had come out, like, for the first year, being at my friend's house over the summer, like, it was MTV2 watching, because MTV2 was around and they would play, like, a lot of the same music blocks, after hours, like 10 p.m., 11 o'clock, midnight. And we would either be listening to that or watching music videos, or we would have this movie on repeat. It was one of our go-tos. And, again, it definitely appeals to that teen kind of comedy thing, although it was pretty crude for the, time that it was around. It's an R-rated spoof.
Yeah, I think mostly for me at the age that I watched it, it was funny because of all the physical comedy that's in there. I remember recalling with you that a lot of these jokes, a good chunk of them went over my head for the age that I was when I first saw it. So it was subsequent watches as I got older where I was like, oh, fuck, I get this now. Yeah,
and then when I was watching it, I knew better. I was like, this is, why? We just dying laughing and being at that age, being a teenager and then growing into like late teens. This is the kind of humor, like this is the type of like audience that this humor is targeting, because it is very much like when you get older, you watch a movie like this just for the nostalgia factor, because really and truly, like, I think it's probably because I've seen it so much, the humor would not land today. I don't think a lot of the humor would stick the landing. Some of it is still kind of funny, like just, wordplay or, the subtle parts of the humor that show through, but parody, like I said earlier, it's very hit or miss. There's a joke like every 5 seconds, and it's always either a major in-your-face, oh, haha, this is funny, or it's very subtle, or just things that you have to rewatch to pick up on because there's so much happening. Like they would have something as simple as the name of the high school in the background kind of painted in a locker room area where it says B period A period Corpse High School.
I think one of the cars in the parking lot was also like a coroner's vehicle or something like that. We pointed that out on our watch. And you even pointed out like a character's body movements and language in the background of one of the scenes. And I was like, I never fucking noticed that before.
And we'll get to it. We're not going to go beat by beat, but like the scene that Lee's talking about is when they're doing a flashback of the main characters. And this is a parody of I Know What You Did Last Summer, in the scene where they hit the fisherman with a car, which we talked about this movie on a past episode. So you go check that out. But it's that scene. and the character of Ray, played by Shawn Wayans, they were loading the body in the car, and Shawn, his character is like kind of ambiguously gay. You know, they don't really like say he is or not, even though he does come out later and like, I ain't gay. And like, it's like, wait, what about that trip we took together? He's like, I wanted to go shopping. He's like, what about that club you took me to? They play good music. You know, just like really funny shit like that. But he's humping the fucking corpse like as they're loading it into the trunk. Like because they're like
thrusting his hips.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, I'll grab his arm. He's like, I'll grab his ass. And he goes to like pick him up and shit. It's really funny. But it deals with Drew Decker, which is played by Carmen Electra, and I think that is pretty funny because that's honestly, it's Casey Becker and then like Drew Barrymore. That's like where they got the name. And Carmen Electra was probably one of the biggest like supermodels at that time when this had come out, which was something that I thought was cool about a lot of these movies. They would just stick to whatever was popular at that moment, which I think makes these movies a time capsule.
Absolutely. And that's the nostalgia factor behind it. A lot of it for me is going back and be like, oh shit, I remember every single fucking movie and every single reference that these originated from.
Right. Anyway, like she's parodying the opening, or they're parodying the opening of the original Scream right here. And it's so goddamn funny because there's small references like the Jiffy Pop bag just getting obscenely huge on the stove, like never exploding, just being like a hot air balloon size in this kitchen.
Mm-hmm. The parody of the sexualization of females in horror movies as well, with her running through, you know, the field with the sprinklers and getting her clothes ripped off, and then the boob implant. Yeah.
That's literally a stab. It's a stab at that, and also the reference to Carmen Electra being a supermodel,
Absolutely.
You know, and the Playboy Playmate at one time, because they did talk about like the line where he's like, "Cause I want to see what your insides look like," and she's like, "Well, then turn to page 24," and he's like, "Hey, nice," you know. And I think Anna Faris is probably one of the funniest women in Hollywood.
You know what's crazy about her and her role in this movie? Did you know it was her first acting role?
Yeah.
She had just graduated, I think, from the University of Washington, maybe. And the Wayans brothers literally just took a chance on someone who had no previous experience because they loved the vibe that she gave off for the audition.
She's really good at playing.
Hilarious.
Yeah, she's good at playing that real, like, kind of aloof,
innocent.
Yeah. And,
naive.
Yeah,
even,
and that's really what sold me as like a fan of her work, because she's fucking hysterical, man. And like she's really good in this role. And this literally will play into like, again, the humor of the times. Like the Wayans brothers were not the first Wayans brothers to do anything like spoof parody. Like, well, I'm talking like Sean and Marlon. Like their older brothers obviously did the shit on In Living Color. Like Keenan Ivory Wayans, who directed this film and co-wrote it, or I'm sorry, he directed this and Sean and Marlon wrote this. But Keenan had done parody movies before. He did I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker in the 80s, and that was parodying like 70s and 80s blaxploitation and action films. And then watching In Living Color growing up, Shawn Wayans was the DJ for that, called SW1. He was the DJ on the opening intro piece, and Jennifer Lopez was one of the fly girls. A lot of people got their start on that TV show.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it was cool. Like me having grown up watching that and then seeing their involvement with this, I was like, oh, this is going to be funny. And of course, the Wayans brothers had their TV show,
which they comment on.
Which, again, that's what I love about movies like this, is that you can break that fourth wall and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But anyway, Drew Decker gets killed. Killed. And Cindy Campbell, who is Anna Faris, like they open with the entire parody of the bedroom scene opening of Scream. And her dad is a cocaine dealer.
Drug dealer.
Yeah. And like they make references to Uncle Escobar, and like the fact that the joke he makes about cutting it with baking soda
versus baking powder.
Yeah. And the subtle delivery of the line, "You've loved that joke since you were 2 years old." Like, dude, the fact that you've been involving your fucking kid in this shit for that long, it was funny. I think of all the actors in this movie, I really love Regina Hall as Brenda Meeks. She's fucking hysterical, dude. They
originally offered that role to Aaliyah, the singer.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You know why she turned it down? She thought it would have been like a bit of an insult to Brandy, who's the actress who played the character in I Know What You Did Last Summer too. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Fellow R&B singer. So she was like, nah, I'm going to pass on that.
Damn, man.
You know what? I think that was for the best.
Yeah, probably so.
I'm super happy with the casting and how they continue that on through the Scary Movie sequels.
Yeah, that's another thing that I will give this franchise is that most everybody that plays like the key characters do come back.
Mm-hmm.
And damn near all of them. Which I think is another funny thing because the original tagline on the poster was "No mercy, no shame, no sequel," and there's been fucking 4 of them after the fact. We're about to have our 6th film altogether coming out.
The tagline for the second one was "We lied."
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of easy when you see how much money this movie actually made.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nearly a $20 million budget and made almost $280 million at the box office.
Nuts.
Yeah, especially that type of return on an R-rated comedy in the early 2000s. Well, shit, at the turn of the new millennium, it was a big risk at the time to do anything R-rated. Even comedies, it was a risk to take doing an R-rated comedy because most horror movies that were coming out around them, I think, were PG-13 horror.
Yeah, and it was a good leap to make because I believe the year it released in 2000, it ended up being like the 9th highest grossing film that year.
Yeah, and honestly, the second one, Scary Movie 2, it was the Scary Movie 1 and 2 were the only 2 R-rated in the franchise up until I believe this one that's coming out is going to be rated R. Scary Movie 6, a.k.a. just Scary Movie.
Yeah, Scary Movie 2026.
Well, that's also a parody of how they did Scream 5.
Sure.
Yeah, how they just did Scream. And it was just Scream. Scream. Yeah, this character is great though. She's quite a handful, really. Like she's loud. Like I'm making fun of. She's like loud and obnoxious and making fun of Buffy Gilmore, Shannon Elizabeth's character, talking about how she's fake as. I love
she's as fake as press on nails, girl.
Yeah, she fucking laughing. She's like talking to Cindy and she's rolling up to school because initially Shannon, which is a funny thing because Shannon Elizabeth is like fresh off of her spot in American Pie where she was playing that foreign exchange student, that fucking movie there, Jesus Christ. So she's coming off of that and I believe had just either started filming for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. It was like around the same time that she was just getting into a lot of different movies like 13 Ghosts and shit. She comes up playing this girl next door character and then she's talking about, hey, is he gone? Talk about her dad. And then she like rips her clothes off and has like super like cleavage revealing shit, starts putting makeup on.
Which I don't know about you, but my high school would have never allowed you to wear an outfit like that.
No, same. This must be a California thing or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a West Coast shit.
If I was laughing my ass off at the way that Buffy was talking shit about her right up until she walked up, or whatever, like talking to Cindy, being like, she's a hoe, talking about like, I seen her. She was at my boy's party. She's like, Sean who? She's like, oh, Puff Daddy. Which that should tell everybody how far back these fucking Diddy freak-offs were fucking going. What a piece of shit. Any fucking way. Man. Dude, and she comes up, she goes, that girl is as fake as press on nails. Hey, baby girl! Fucking looking right at her. It's like, oh my God.
The comedic timing is so good for everyone, honestly.
Yeah, and that kind of has to be a thing. And if you're doing something like this, because you can't you could underdeliver comedically in a parody because parody is kind of fucking stupid in the first place, but I feel like you have to have some like excellent timing for it to really work, especially this well. Because let's talk about the other Wayans brother in this movie. Let's talk about Marlon playing Shorty.
Shorty! I love Shorty so much.
That dude, I think, has some of the dumbest goddamn lines in this movie, but I think that is a testament to when we look at certain side characters as comic relief in horror movies, we kind of, historically, we're all guilty of this. I think we either write them off or we're like, that's a nobody character, but what would these movies be without them?
Those are the ones you end up falling in love with and you want to know more about in the end.
Right. Like he was supposed to be kind of Randy in Scream, which I think was a funny goddamn character. Marlon just knocks it out of the park. It's everything that you love about stoner comedy thrown into the mix of all of this shit because everything is a weed reference or he's just making some outlandish ass joke. Like when he's talking to Sherry O'Terry's character, who is a play off of Gale Weathers from the Scream franchise. Gale Hailstorm.
Gale Hailstorm here.
Which I think Sherry O'Terry is fucking funny too.
Yeah.
Another SNL alum in this movie. They're coming fresh off of the murder that happened, right? This all ties into Shannon Elizabeth's character walking up and them talking shit about her and walking past the coroner truck. And they're passing by all the news vans talking about, oh yeah, this murder happened, blah blah blah, and then of course you have to do it. It's funny to me. They fucking sitting there reporting live for Black TV. White folks are dead. We're getting the fuck out of here. And it's just a play on the trope of like, you know, the black character dies first in every movie, so they're just fucking leaving, right?
Preemptively.
Yeah. So I just thought this shit was funny because like right after that they're interviewing Shorty and he's like, oh shit, I'm on TV, son. I'm gonna be a star.
Run, bitch, run!
Yeah, I fucking love it.
Love
Yeah, what a great cast of people, really. You know, let's talk about Greg, who's played by Lachlan Monroe, and most famously outside of this was the main like security guard guy in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, I didn't remember that one at all.
When you watch it and you see it, you're like, oh my God, he goes like, this is what he's playing now. And I couldn't take him seriously. I thought that was the worst part. Like, it was the best and worst part is that I recognized him, but I could not take him seriously in that movie because I know how fucking stupid he is in this one.
You just carried that over with you.
Yeah, and I mean, he was in like Night at the Roxbury and shit like that too. But my God, what a dumb fucking character in the best way. He's so like dingy. He plays the typical jock dumb fuck,
and he's angry because he got a tiny peepee.
That was fucking
baby
hilarious.
Dick. Baby dick.
Yeah, he's a play off of Ryan Phillippe's character, which is funny because his last name is Phillippe and he's Greg Phillippe.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of gags in this. It's a lot to get into, but they have a lot of gags in this movie. And there's a lot of films that they actually like talk about and they make reference to.
Even outside of horror films, I think one of the most notable ones being The Matrix. That was so huge for the time period that this movie and The Matrix came out in. And you see references to The Matrix in film and media for decades after. So we know how like absolutely influential it is, but seeing the scene between the killer, who is actually, you know, the character Doofy in costume, and I actually found out that the actor who played Doofy was also the man under the Ghostface costume. But the scene where they are fighting and they do the slow motion bullet effect and everything, you see stuff like that all over the place. The Matrix was huge for references.
And it was always the same shot. It was either the jump up with the 360 camera spin or like the bullet dodging sequence or whatever. And every fucking time, man, they would have like the tech music playing in the background. But I think one of the funniest scenes in the movie is when Ray and Brenda go to the movies and she's seeing Shakespeare in Love.
Shakespeare.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. She gets on the phone and she's like, oh, I'm in the movies. Shakespeare in Love. And like...
And then she just ruins the ending of the movie for everybody immediately.
Right. And it's a play on Scream 2 when Jada Pinkett Smith's character gets killed in the middle of the theater.
Because all three Screams were out before Scary Movie 1 came out. Am I correct?
Scream 3 came out in 2000, I think.
Oh, because I thought that little video bit at the end of Scary Movie was from, like, a reference from Scream 3. The bit with Shorty in the convenience store at the very end.
Scream 3 was, like... February of the same year that Scary Movie came out.
Gotcha.
So like
Okay,
they
it was
probably squeezed that in.
They may have. It was a post-credit scene, so that would track. But also I haven't seen the rest of the Scream franchise in absolutely forever, so my memory could be off on that one.
Right. But I mean, like I said, they did a lot of other movies in here. Like they even referenced the Blair Witch Project at one point with Sherry O'Terry's character and Kenny, her camera guy. Which, it's so funny. I've seen gore. I have seen people break legs. I've seen people get decapitated. I've seen blood spill everywhere. This scene where she is doing the I'm so scared right now thing is still hard for me to watch because I think the fucking, like, the leaky ass nose is just so disgusting sounding and looking.
So I gotta tell our audience, we were eating when we were rewatching this movie. And when we got to that part, we both immediately looked down and were like, nope, I can't watch this. It's fucking nasty.
Even just hearing the trickle.
The drip drops.
Yeah, I was taking a sip of my fucking drink and I was just like...
No, thank you.
Yeah, it's like, that's like... You can hear it barely going like just come... Yeah, it was so fucking nasty.
Gotta get our ASMR sounds in there. They even reference like other things that aren't movies. I think the whole like "What's up?" like that
they referenced
iconic
the Budweiser
scene.
commercial.
Yes. And I really do think that's the most iconic scene in the whole movie. I think when you think of the first Scary Movie or even Scary Movie franchise in general, that is what pops into most people's heads.
Yeah, the dumb fucking look on the face of Ghostface's like mask. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So like that's funny to me. It's that and when they get stoned with him.
Oh, using the fucking aquarium?
Yeah, because fucking sitting there, they ran out of papers because they did the Sixth Sense where Shorty's just like, "Can I tell you a secret?" Like, yeah, bro, what's up? I see dead people. And he's like, "Yo, this shit is so awesome, bro. We gotta roll more of that." And Shorty's kind of pissed off. He's like, "Oh, we ain't got no more papers. What the hell are we going to use to make a bong?" And then his face like, like he kind of has that look. And he sees the fish tank. I just remember you being like, "Man, that would taste like shit."
Yeah, it would. Nasty ass.
All the algae getting in there and everything. Yeah. But they cut right to it. And then the killer like kicks the door open and they're just like, "Oh shit." And then they bring him in there and they're like, talk. Yeah.
Talk.
And then fucking some good shit. Which you pointed out that it looked too real to not be actual marijuana. Like
yes,
as far as like that.
I was like, when they exhaled in that particular scene, I was like, that looked like real smoke there, actually. I'm questioning whether or not that was a real hit.
I'm gonna be in the camp of I think it's real. Because some of that shit wouldn't surprise me like in the least bit, especially on some of these movies, because like it's easy to see, like, especially if somebody's like smoking a cigarette, it's easy to see if they're actually smoking the cigarette or if they're fake smoking it.
The pull into the mouth versus the actual inhale of cigarette smoke.
They'll pull it into the mouth and just poof it out. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, if you see somebody exhale and it's like some thick ass fucking smoke, or the room is filled with thick smoke, that ain't real. That shit ain't real.
I love the part where he gets shot in the chest near the end. And it's right through like one of his lungs and he collapses to the ground and you see the smoke trailing out of the bullet wound and he's like, "You want to hit this?"
Yeah, he's like, "You want to hit this shit?" Fucking just yeah. That's another thing about this franchise and this movie in particular. Like, none of the deaths actually really matter because everybody will come back anyway. It's kind of like an episode of South Park or like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, you know, like where it's whatever. Nothing really matters. It's non-canonical.
Yeah, they don't take it that seriously.
No.
Which I think that's also something we talked about is like a lot of these characters that you think have died come back in the next one and there's literally just like no comment on it whatsoever. I want to say in Scary Movie 2, the only reference they make is like, "Oh, these are the survivors of, you know, the whatever massacre from the first Scary Movie," and that's pretty much the extent of it.
And they just kind of let bygones be bygones. They didn't really talk about it much.
All part of the humor, honestly.
Yeah, another couple of running gags in the movie are people getting hit with vehicles.
Yes.
Like in the very beginning, we were talking about Drew Decker. She gets run over by her dad, who's getting a roadhead from his wife. And it's so goddamn funny. Did you hear that? Not in near anything.
Jesus. Again, I was way too young to be watching this shit.
No shit.
God.
I want to talk about the scene where Buffy wins the pageant queen thing, where they're referencing the Croaker Queen pageant from I Know What You Did Last Summer, where they're sitting up in the rafters. It's Cindy and Greg and Ray up in the rafters are watching her and stuff. And he's doing the whole fucking thing that Ryan Phillippe did, which I still to this day think is really cringy. Like, "Yeah, that's my girlfriend." Like, yeah, okay, dude. Okay, cool. Right. So like he yells that, and then someone in the crowd's like, "Yeah, that's my girlfriend too." And he's like, "What the fuck?" And this other dude's like, "Yeah, best pussy I ever had." He's like, "What, you want a piece of me, motherfucker?" Like,
yeah, I hit that.
Yeah, he's just yelling at him, which it's funny because they're just it's just the play on like her getting shit talked earlier by old girl being like, "Oh, she's such a hoe." It's like, I guess so then. So
didn't one of the sashes say something goofy? You
Miss
pointed out
Fellatio.
Miss Fellatio, that's what it was.
Yeah. But it was cracking me up because he gets killed up in the rafters just like in, you know, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and she's supposed to be doing a dramatic reading and she's, you know, actually having a visceral reaction. She's screaming bloody murder like, "Oh, he's killing him. Somebody, why won't you fucking bastards do anything?" And everybody's like, "Oh, she's really good."
She's good.
Yeah, it must be an original piece. I've never seen like acting like this before. You know, just that type of shit. And what made me like sit here and think about it, I was like, you know what? If they would have done something like that in the original movie, it might have held a little more weight than them like thinking that she was just like legitimately being over dramatic. It would have been funny if they were just like, oh God, yeah, she's really good.
What a great actress. Yes.
Yeah. And then how fucking awful it would have been where like, oh man, we totally missed a real cry for help because situation. But in this, it was fucking hysterical because she runs off crying, and then Cindy's like, hey, what happened to Greg? She's like, oh, fuck Greg, I won.
She also becomes a total fucking cunt for the whole rest of the movie after that.
Fucking hilarious, actually, because like the whole time Cindy's like, I like Buffy. She's really nice.
Really sweet.
Yeah, she's really sweet. And then, she's exactly who... she's exactly who Brenda says she is.
Yeah, watching her turn on Cindy and then shortly after that also get murdered by the murderer, but not take it seriously the entire time. Even to the point where after she's beheaded by Ghostface, she's still being like, oh, now I'm a gross severed head. Ooh, how scary. And you're just like, oh my God, please put that obnoxious bitch in the trash immediately.
He did put her in the trash can. It was pretty funny. But that was like a parody of Scream, which is weird because they kind of split Rose McGowan's lines and character up in a way. Like they did the garage scene where she was at that she said all that stuff, but then they left the lines in the school with her.
Right.
Which, dude, that scene was another one where I'm like, oh, I cringe every time because like I don't deal well with bone through skin breaks on movies.
Oh, the compound fracture of the leg. Yes, that is cringeworthy for sure. Yikes.
But the delivery was fucking funny because she's got that, see, there you go, Mr. Killer. And she's like crawling away.
Now I'm panicking.
Yeah. And again, that's another thing about like parody where it's so fucking over the top that like, and it's not to be overly critical, but it is a thing of like, when does it stop? When does the joke stop being funny? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Like there are critiques, about the movie. It's not even like in a bad way because this is very much like, it's a nostalgia watch. It's very dated.
It is a true piece that is an example of the humor of the time that it came out in, 100%.
Because there are like, again, like jokes that kind of overstay their welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Like that being one of them. It's like, oh my God. Like at some point you're just like, just please throw this fucking dumbass in the trash can and make her shut up. But then there are other jokes where it's like, oh man, this was really actually good. I think the other thing about this movie that I didn't even think about until just now, for the time that it had come out, there was a period of time in comedy where like you could flash dicks on screen and it wasn't like, there was nothing thought about it, like especially in the 80s or whatever. And then it just died and they didn't do that for a long time. I remember when I first saw this, I was like, did they actually just put a fucking dickhead on screen?
Yep. Even in the young age that I saw it, I was like, oh, what was that? I don't think I was supposed to see that.
Fucking hell. But like looking back on it, it's like, oh my God, like, I guess like now everything is just so in your face these days, it's tame, which is weird to fucking think.
Desensitization is absolutely a thing for sure.
Right. I just remember them being like, did they just put a dick on screen? And when they stabbed it through his head, I was like, what the fuck? I laughed so hard. Because like they showed like that, and then it was the small dick picture in the locker room where Greg was like, damn it, son of a bitch, where are you? When he goes and confronts all of them at the fountain, and he's like fucking pissed about it. And then Cindy's like, no, don't worry. Bobby got one too, or like I got one too, or something like that.
You're not the only one who's gotten one.
Yeah. You're not the only one who's got one. He's just like, he looks up, he's like, oh, Bobby's got a baby dick too?
No.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
The way he beats the absolute piss out of Anna Faris.
Right. That's another one that would never fucking like fly today. But in the context of this, it is pretty funny because they are making fun of the fact that Ryan Phillippe's character and I Know What You Did Last Summer was goddamn unhinged.
Yeah,
actually.
He was like a really bad tempered jock. And he definitely emulates that for sure in Scary Movie with the character.
They made it kind of humorous, though. They made it very professional wrestling humorous because he does a full blown body slam and then he's doing like rib kicks and an elbow drop and shit.
Yeah.
And they didn't even make it to where like you see like off screen maybe like two kicks land a blow or whatever, but like it's very obviously a dummy that he fucking body slams on the ground and shit, which it's fucking hysterical.
It is very funny.
When they leave shit like that in movies like this, I laugh my ass off because that's like That's perfect.
I feel like it gives them so much wiggle room for genuine, hilarious mistakes to happen.
Sure.
And they just embrace them. And it's just all part of the experience.
Yep.
And it works. It works. It goes so well with it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Doofy.
Sure, let's talk about Doofy.
Doofy's an interesting character. So for anyone who's unaware, which I'm assuming most people have seen this movie by now, Doofy is a character that is presented with some form of mental handicap throughout the entire film. And by the end of the film, you end up finding out that they pull what's called the usual suspects ending, where he was faking it the whole time and he was actually the killer. The lead up to that
God
is insane.
I think Dave Sheridan steals the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Every time Doofy is on screen, it is nothing short of just like, what the fuck? Like, there's the sequence where Gail is hitting on him and she goes to lick his finger and she makes this like fucked up face where she's just like, what the fuck?
What did I just taste?
Yeah, because later on, they're at the police station and he's like walking by two of his superiors and they're making a really gross like sexual reference to him. And he's like, yeah, smell the finger. He's like, ugh. And Doofy goes and fucking, he's like, here, smell that. And they're like, whoa, what the fuck is that? He's like, my ass. And, it's just like, oh, no wonder Gail was making a really fucked up face. Like, ugh. And they make references to him like fucking the vacuum cleaner. And they make a reference to it when he's running out of his room. Whenever they're having a sleepover, it's Buffy and Cindy, and they get a phone call from the killer at the house, and he runs out with a t-shirt and his underwear on, dragging this like old, like silver, like old school shop vac.
It's so funny the way it's just banging around against the walls and everything.
Right, and he picks the phone, he's like, hello? And he's like, I told you to stop bothering me when I'm cleaning my room, and he fucking stomps back in there and slams the door shut. In fact, you know what? I just remembered there is a post-credit sequence with him.
What?
Yeah, there is a post-credit sequence with him after the entirety of the credits have rolled. He's in the bedroom with the vacuum and he sticks his dick in the vacuum cleaner.
Why do I not remember that at all?
Because nobody remembers to stay.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody bothered to stay after the credits for movies until Marvel trained you to.
First of all, I never got to see this in theater like you did. You got to see it in theater. I saw it at home, so all I got was the post-credits like VHS DVD scene with Shorty in the convenience store, and that was pretty much it. I had no idea there was another scene after that.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Dude, the credits are like 7 minutes long.
Yeah, there's some long-ass credits.
Yeah.
But it was really funny seeing him pull the usual suspects ending where he stops like limping and pulls off the fake mustache and pulls off his toy belt, hops into a fucking convertible with Gale Hailstorm, and he looks literally like he looks like he disappeared in that character. He looks like a completely different person and he just fucking is gone. And yeah, it was good setup for sure. I'm not sure I saw that coming when I was watching the movie initially.
No, and we'll get to that scene shortly because like at the end of the movie, it's, you know, they play it out exactly how the ending of Scream plays out, where Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard are the killers, but it's Ray and Bobby who are the killers. And we were, again, referencing the whole thing from earlier where Bobby was just like, yeah, abstinence makes you realize a lot of stuff about yourself, Cindy. Turns out I'm gay, and so is Ray. And Ray's like,
I ain't gay.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, that's that whole fucking thing. I was like, well, I wanted to go shopping. Well, they play good music. And I fucking thought that was so funny, actually.
That's the same scene where they make the comment about canceling the Wayans Brothers show.
Dude, I remember seeing that and laughing because I remember in real time hearing about the Wayans Brothers show being canceled by the WB. And I was like, fuck, I liked that show. And he was just stabbing the dude over and over. He's like, the Wayans Brothers was a good show. It was a good ass show. We didn't even get a final episode.
Get a little woozy here.
Yeah, he absolutely over-delivered on that line. Okay, I want to break off from this so we talk about that line getting delivered really well because it always makes me think about the unplanned line from Matt Lillard in Scream when he gets hit with the fucking phone, for real, gets hit with the phone and has a real reaction to it that they left in the movies. Oh, you fucking hit me with the phone, dick! What a great fucking line.
I love Matthew Lillard. I really do.
Me too. The only thing that would actually make these movies complete is if they could get a cameo from him in the new one coming up. I would laugh so hard.
That would be so good.
But yeah, what a good parody of those characters too, honestly, towards the end of this. And it was when he gets shot in the chest. The shorty gets shot in the chest with the lung thing that you talked about earlier. And Cindy slowly realizes in the police department when she is talking to the detective played by, I think it's Kurt Fuller. Yeah, Kurt Fuller playing Sheriff Burke, who we know Kurt Fuller from many different things, but I think one or two films that most cult film enthusiasts would know him from are No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan and Wayne's World. He was also in Ghostbusters 2, and this movie... He's so fucking he's so good at delivering these throwaway lines and just delivering them so seriously.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Like every time he's got Cindy in the interrogation room, it's always some real awkward interaction where he's like, hey, he's pulled his folder. He's like, hey, I need you to take a look at these photos for me. And you're thinking it's like crime scene photos, and it's just him in like a man thong, like in different poses. And she's like, no. It's like, what about this one? No, I don't think so. I love when he puts it away. And he's like, all right, well, we'll call you if we have anything. But hey, hold on here. Just take a look at this one more time. And she's like, no. And he's like, no, okay, I thought so. He puts it back in. He's so dumb. But the final interrogation scene was pretty goddamn funny whenever he's trying to figure out, okay, like, we don't have this person, we don't have this person, so it's got to be, who could it be? And he's like, sits down, hands her a cup of coffee, he takes his handcuffs out, and then he takes his gun out.
The fucking whip. The ball gag. Butt plug.
That fucking goddamn, that traffic cone sized butt plug, dude. You just hear, and it just wiggles.
I was like, God damn, she's a thick bitch.
You just hear, and it like wobbles on the fucking table. Yeah.
It's probably how he pulled it out before he put it on the table. But it was so good. And then Cindy starts drinking her coffee, and then she has like the realization after she's putting it together, drops the mug. The mug shatters on the floor and spills the coffee everywhere. You see a goldfish flop out of it, which was just goofy. And then at the very bottom of the mug, it says like doofus porcelain or something like that.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh my God, Doofy. And then the look on his face when the realization hits him is perfect. He's like, oh, and then they just start taking off.
I love the shot of the mug shattering, though, because they kind of also make fun of the repeated shots of certain things happening from different angles. Like there's an overhead shot, undershot, side.
So dramatic.
Dude, I love dumb shit like that. Camera angles used for comedy, like edits, that's some of the best comedy in the world to me. When you can just, I don't know, that's genius. But good stuff. And that leads to the one you were talking about where he just he just takes his disguise off and it's just some dude.
Just some dude.
Just some dude with a fucking... he looks like a greaser by the time he gets done.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Bro's got his white t-shirt, slick back hair. And
he looks like one of the tunnel snakes from Fallout.
Yeah, man. Lights a fucking Miller Lite. Not a Miller Lite.
A Miller Lite?
Yeah.
Lights the Miller Lite.
He lights a Marlboro Light. He probably drinks Miller Lite. Who knows? Not sponsored.
We're smoking beers and drinking cigarettes
That's right.
over here.
I need my fridge cigarette right now.
And then, of course, that shortly after leads to the running gag. I think at least the end of the first three. I don't remember a lot past that, where Cindy is basically standing in the street at the end of the movie, and then out of nowhere, you just see this car go vroom and just bonks her into fucking space.
And every time, like, you see the moment of impact happen, you can see it turn digital.
Yes.
Which is even funnier to me. Then they end it right, and then they do the whole snatch and run convenience store gag with Shorty. So he's like, if you watching this,
the rules of a scary movie, basically.
Yeah, he's like either I didn't make it out or I'm in prison or something like that. But he's like, either way, he's like, I'll leave you with 3 rules, And he goes through them and they yell snatch and run, and they just rob this convenience store, like all this food and shit.
Clerk grabs out that big old gun.
You motherfuckers! Like he's shooting at him. This is one of those movies, like if you have a Paramount Plus subscription, all of the Scary Movie films are on there, so you can go watch it there. But I'd be really surprised if anybody out there hasn't seen this. I know there are people out there that think like, oh, if you like this movie, then you're fucking stupid, or like all this. Dude, comedy is so fucking subjective. And I think Spoof is great with horror movies, because horror movies more often than not do have like a comic relief character, and horror movies need that shit. Like, you need something to kind of like break that serious mode and kind of give you that breathing room. This movie is kind of like foot on the gas the whole time, especially the sequel, which I'm sure we'll talk about the sequel.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, because that one, in my opinion, I think is the better of the two.
I agree. Like I said, that one's definitely my favorite one. And then, of course, we got the new one coming out, which we've already decided we're going to go see in theater.
Yeah, I'd love to see that one in theaters, too.
It's been a while since I've seen a good comedy. I feel like almost everything I've gone for recently has been sci-fi, fantasy, or horror lately.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, that's a scary movie. Good to see, the Wayans brothers coming back to do the new one that's coming out, because I think that's the shot in the arm the franchise really needs. And yeah, I will be looking forward to seeing that in theaters, and I'm sure we'll come back to talk about Scary Movie 2, which is, again, that's going to be a riot when we get to talk about that one, because there's a lot of shit in there that gets referenced that I think is actually funnier.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God, yes. I actually think the jokes land better in 2.
Yeah, same here. If you would like us to keep our long-running tradition, it's not even long, it's like maybe 2 episodes, including this one, but if you'd like us to keep our long-running tradition of 420 episodes every year, just let us know in the comments if there are particular 420 horror movies or whatever that you would like for us to cover, and we'll get to them. And for past, present, and future episodes of Cult Macabre, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. You can leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave us a rating and leave comments on individual episodes on Spotify. And if you're listening to this episode on our YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, clicking the bell for notifications for future episodes, leaving us a like on this video, or leaving us a comment down below. Any engagement helps. And if you would like to follow us on any of our social media platforms, all of this information can be found on our Linktree link in the show notes below.
So if you'd like to join us for more of pop culture's dark side, sign the black book and join the cult. I'm Lee.
And I'm Richie.
And we'll see you next time.